Now we want to talk about creating additional pages for your site so that you can have a way for people to navigate around your site to be able to get to the different pages. We have not created any of the different pages yet, but I know I want to put my navigation below my H1. I'm going to have an H1 in every page, and I need to have several links. So I'm going to put them for now in a paragraph. We're going to change that. And let's put some space here. And then for each link, I'm going to have an ahref equal. I want to start with the home page, so I'm going to put the name of the page. So this is similar to when we did links before, but we don't do the HTTP because this is a page on our site. And then within the A tag opening and closing, I'm going to put home. Now you might be like, why am I putting a home page on the same page as itself? We want the navigation to look exactly the same on every page. So we don't want to remove the page that we're on. We want the user to get used to the navigation looking exactly the same. So for each one of these, I'm going to copy this line and put a different line for each item that I wanted to create. Now I haven't created these pages yet, but let's say I want to have a resume page. So I'm going to create resume.html in a second. And I want a page with maybe my favorite links on the web. So I'm going to call it links.html. Also notice that I am saving everything lowercase in terms of file names, no spaces, no capital letters. If you get used to that convention, it'll save you a lot of troubleshooting pain later on. So the word that goes in here, that can have spaces and capital letters. It's just the file name that should not. So I should have a site with 3 links in it for home, resume, and then a links page to maybe my favorite places to go on the web. Things that I like, things that I enjoy, anything that I want. And you can make your different pages anything you want. So I'm going to save this, and let's refresh the page and see how it looks. And so we have home, resume, and links. Resume and links do not exist yet, so if I click on it, I'm going to get an error. So we're going to do a couple things. First of all, I want to recommend putting your navigation in a list. That's going to be important when we start applying some cascading style sheet properties to this to be able to make your navigation look the way you want it. So instead of this being in a paragraph, I'm going to create it as an unordered list. So I'm just changing these P's to ULs. And then if you recall, we are going to have, within the list, has to have a list item. So I'm just going to copy, well, I'm going to get rid of this. Closing, so I'm going to have opening and closing here for each one. And then do it correctly, get it the right syntax, or else we will get errors. I'm going to have opening and closing for each one of these. And I don't need a space there. And then same thing with LI, opening and closing around each one of those links. So if we save this now, we have our navigation in a list, and that's cool. But we still have not created the pages that go with each of these pages. So the quickest way to do that is to use our existing page as a template. However, there's one thing we need to do first in Visual Studio Code, and that is turn off autosave. That is the default. So I'm going to turn that off because we don't want it to autosave as we go. We want to be able to make changes and then save as the file we want to. So just make sure that that is turned off before you get started doing this. If you're in another editor, you probably don't need to turn off autosave. It might be defaulting to not being on autosave, but that's a very important thing for Visual Studio Code. We don't want to, at this point, have any autosaving going on. So it's really easy to make these changes. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take everything out on this page, my index page, and I'm going to change some of the content in it that would reflect, this is my resume page, and obviously I'd make my resume page. This is just sort of a placeholder. And then I also like to put in the title the name of the page after a dash. So for the home page, you don't need to do that because it's just the home page. But for every other page, I like in the tab at the top for it to be, Cindy Royal resume, Cindy Royal links. Now here's where you have to be careful. We don't want to do a save. We want to do a save as. And we want to make sure that autosave is off, so it hasn't been autosaving for us as we go. And this one is going to now be named resume. And of course, We will add our content later. You want to have a full page of content, but this is just to quickly show you how to make these changes. To create our links page, we do the same thing. We make a links page, and we say this is our links page. You know, maybe I'm going to have a page with my favorite links, my favorite technology sites, or my favorite news sites, or maybe this is where I put some links to other things that I like and enjoy. And so again, instead of save, I'm going to say save as, and we'll just save this as links.html. And you can see here, as I'm creating them, they're going in the same folder as the index page, the resume page, and where my image is. Let's look at that. We'll go to documents, website, and you can see all the items are all in the same folder here, and that's why it's very important to be organized. So now we should be able to come over here, and as we click around the site, we have a completed website with everything except the content. You'd want to go through and obviously add content, add headings, paragraphs, images, links, anything you wanted. But notice here too that the top of the page stays exactly the same. So somebody could navigate around the site without things jumping around or changing very much. So this is a consistent top navigation for each of the pages of your site.